Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to do a small comparison between list record management and retention labels. So first of all, let's talk about in-list record management. So in-list record management is basically a classic feature in SharePoint Online and give you more restricted control over the documents because it will allow the documents to be declared as a record, which will allow the admins to make it non-editable or non-deletable. So the users will not be able to make any changes to the file. They will not be able to move the file to a different location, and they will not be able to delete the file as well. Okay. So for this purposes, the admins can use this in place record management. But again, like I said, this has some benefits of it, but it also has some demerits as well. Like it can only be used in a SharePoint site collection, which is a classic site, and it can only be used in particular sites. So it cannot be used centrally. So if you want to use it, you have to enable the classic feature manually by going to site collection features and activate the list record management feature. Okay. Now there is a more advanced version of document available in SharePoint, which is retention labels. So retention labels will also help you classifying the documents and it will also help you obtaining the document. Okay. But it is very flexible. User will be able to make changes to the files. They will be able to delete the file as well. Okay. So retention label has an advanced version of labels, which is called record management label. Okay. So we'll see that how does the retention label, record management label, and in-place record and in-place record management works. Okay. So before we move ahead, these are the main differences between them. That retention labels are more flexible, and it will give you more flexibility on editing and deleting the content. Whereas in-place record management is more rugged. It will not allow the user to do any sort of modifications. Now, let's navigate to the actual portal from where we apply and where we create the retention labels. Okay. So first of all, let's look into this label policies. Okay. So labeled retention label can be created from two places. First of all, let's go to retention labels. Okay. So from here, when you create a label, you will not be able to create the labels with record management. So record management will help you giving more control over the document. So when a label is created with record management, you cannot be able to delete the content if it is tagged with labels with record management. Okay. So you can create a label here, and let me also give you the small descriptive information or descriptive settings about the labels and record management label. Okay, so that you will be able to understand what I am talking about. Okay, so this is the label from where you will be creating the label. Now, I'll show you one other place from where you will be creating labels, but with record management feature enabled. Okay. I will type in record and I will click on this record management. Right. And also there is one thing keep in mind that in-place record management is not a central, it will not give you a central location to control all of your in-place record tags or in-place record management documents. Will be a central retention labels. It can be used across multiple site collections. And these labels to the content, but this auto apply thing does not exist for in-place record management. Okay, so let's do a small comparison. I will come up here. I'll come up with a retention label section, and I'm going to create so that you will be able to understand what is the main difference between them. Okay, I will just come up here. I'll give it a small name. Okay, let's wait for this to load. I'll just quickly pause the video for a minute. Okay, I have done a side by side for both of the type of retention label. On the left hand side, this one, okay, this is a record management label, and on the right hand side, this one is just a retention label. So I will give it a very simple name to it, which is record, and this one it will be just label. I'll hit next on both of the things. Hit next. Okay, it has a reference ID, but there are many things, but we do not need it. And both of the ends have the same function right now. I'll click on next on the left hand side, and the same here. Everything is just same. But when I hit on next, okay, I will hit on next. So you can see that on the right hand side, we have multiple options available, which is delete item automatically, start a disposition review, and there are many more options. But if you come on the left, there are only two options available, just deleting an item user, even if user deletes or mark the item as a record. And you can select any one of them that mark the item as a record or anything. And you can also see that user won't be able to edit or delete items, and only admins will be able to change or remove the label. Okay. It will not allow the admins as well to edit the file. It will only allow the user to change the label. Okay. And if you want that, users will be able to edit the document as well. That you can select this one, allow this record by default. So it means that the document will be labeled, okay, but you can edit it. Okay. So this is the main difference between this. I hope I hope you are able to understand what is the difference between a label, retention label, and a label with the record management. Okay. Now I'll just go back to the SharePoint site once again. Okay. Back to the SharePoint site. Let me maximize it. Now, let me also give you a small demo how you can activate the in-place record management feature. I'll go to site information and then I'll go to view all settings. Okay. And in here, we just need to navigate to site collection features. And in here, we need to activate the in-place record management. Okay, this one. So it is already activated, but while you are trying it, you need to activate it from here. Choose the settings as per your requirement. You can select as all the settings as per your requirement. Once you are satisfied, click OK. So the settings will be saved. Okay. Now the main thing is how these delay labels works. Okay. I will just create 3 documents quickly. Document 1, 2, and 3 will just create it. Okay. And just quickly pause document 1 and 2. Okay. And first of all, we'll use the in-place record management. Okay. I will select this document. Scroll down, click on more, and then click on compliance details. Under compliance details, I will get the option to declare this as a record. I'll scroll down. I will click on declare this item as a record. So by default, when the document is declared as a record, it gets checked out. Okay. And let me show you. I'll just quickly refresh it. You can see that there is a downward arrow is showing up in this first document file. It means that it is checked out, but it will not show you that who has checked out this file. It just show you that checked out by someone. If I just hover the cursor on this arrow, it will show me that it is checked out by someone else. Okay, but it will not show you the name or anything. And if I want to perform any sort of action, it will not work. I cannot move it to anywhere else. I'll just click on move it, and if I want to move it to some different site, let's say this record center testing, okay, I will not be able to move it. So let me see. If we cannot move the file because it's locked editing, even the move is not working. And if I want to rename this file, it will not work as well because see the file is checked out or locked. So it will not allow you to perform any sort of action on this. You cannot edit it, you cannot delete it, or you cannot move it, right? So this is what happens when a file is under in place. Now, if I apply the label on it, okay, if I just click on details and let me apply the retention label with record management feature enabled. Okay. So there was one label which we created earlier. Let me show you and simply cancel this. So it was record under test. Okay, this one label. Okay, this is very simple. You can easily apply a label. And from here, I will just simply click on record test and the label will be applied. Okay. So you see that retention label applying is pretty much easy. So the label is applied and you can see there is a lock icon is showing up here. It means that some activities or some functions will not work on this. Okay. Like editing and deleting, you cannot delete it. And but you can rename it very well. I can just come up here if I want to rename this file. I can just go ahead and rename it. Okay. In the in-play, you can rename it, but again, you cannot delete it or you cannot perform any editing action on this. Okay. Now, the third one and the least restricted one is retention labels. Okay. Because it will, the document will be definitely retained, but users will be able to perform any sort of action they want. And just come up here, click on apply and choose this SPO test label. Select it. Okay, the label is applied. Simple. So you can see that there is no checkout or no lock icon is showing up here. There is nothing in it. And if I want to edit this document, I can just go ahead and show it visible. I cannot, you know, I do not need to take any permission from anyone. I can just open the file and work on it. Once I'm done, okay, I can just cancel this. So you see, the document is being edited without any hassles. And even if it shows modify a few seconds ago, if I want to delete it, I can go ahead and delete it as well. All right. Oh, let me delete it once again. If if any other person can delete it. Okay. Now, the main thing is when retention label is applied, all the version code library is a hidden library and it only gets created when a document with retention create a copy in the preservation code library. Okay, I'll just refresh it and then we'll just quickly see. Okay, and modified newer to older. Some ID attached to it, but this is actually the policy ID. And there are a couple of IDs added to the documents. I'll go to recycle bin just quickly, look on site content. And then just site will be showing up here. This document too. We just deleted it. Okay. So this is the main difference between a retention label in place and record management label. So I hope I was able to clarify all the things. But again, like I always say, if you have any queries or doubts, so please do let me know your queries in the comment box. And I hope you like the video and its content. If you do, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share as well, please. And see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning. Goodbye.